It is official. Jose Mourinho has been sacked from AS Roma. This is somewhat surprising considering many fans were speculating that Jose might stay this season, at least see the end of the season before getting sacked. But it seems like AS Roma may want to do what Tottenham did, where they got rid of Jose before final because Roma is still in the Europa League. And if they were to win it or get to the final or do better than they're doing currently in the league, perhaps it would look a certain type of way, but it looks like that's it. Jose is gone. This comes at the heels of Roma being in ninth place in the league at this point in time. The last few matches for Roma were not great. The most recent match against Milan was a 3-1 loss. Before that was a 1-0 loss against Lazio. And then after that, or before that rather, was a tie with Atalanta. Unfortunately, the Juventus game, it pretty much was just a moment where it was a 1-0. And then December looked a little bit better up until you see Bologna. The point is this season has not been great points-wise. But personally, as someone who's been watching Roma, as well as someone who's been watching Barcelona, I would say that, watching Barcelona, for example, a team who has been struggling, they just lost in the Super Copa against Madrid. And watching them, you can kind of see the players basically are having a tough time. I don't blame Xavi. I don't think Xavi's to blame. But you can tell that they have a better squad. They should be doing better, but the team is just not all there. Now, when it comes to Roma, I feel like it's almost the opposite, where the team is doing as best as they can. There's definitely areas for improvement. There's definitely issues with Dybala with injury. There's definitely a little bit of a ramp up with Lukaku, although he's done extremely well, in my opinion, for someone who just hit the pitch and immediately started making contributions. But when you look at the game and you see the way people play, obviously with Tammy Abraham, he has some, I don't want to say psychological issues, but he had that clip where he was saying, I feel like I'm doing shit. So it kind of shows that he has low self-esteem, at least when it comes to performing in some regard. At least from the games I've watched, Tammy is not the same as he was last season. Last season, Tammy was almost always on the ball. He was almost always involved with an assist. This season, he's a little bit quieter. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think that he's an example of players that just aren't really doing much in terms of contributing to anything in the third half. Like, when you see people in the box, the people that I can think of immediately are Spinazzola, Lukaku, Paredes, and maybe El Shaarawy, but he's not necessarily a goal converter, but he's good at being someone who tries to make contributions, but it doesn't always convert. And I think getting rid of Jose is basically the club trying to save face, because I honestly don't know what a new coach would do. I mean, what Roma was really good at last season, and they continue to be pretty good at it this season, is set pieces. That's like the one thing Roma was really good for last season. I remember watching a game where Milan was against Roma. Milan was up 2-0 on Roma. In the last 15 minutes from two set pieces, Roma equalized, which kind of is frustrating because it kind of shows that they could contribute and they could convert, but it needed a kickstart, and that the team was working, but it took a while to work. And the reason why I mentioned Barcelona earlier is because watching Roma versus watching Barcelona, Roma is worse in the league. It sucks. It's unfortunate that they're ninth. There's a couple of games there where if it wasn't a tie and if it was a win, it would make a huge difference. For the fans, I know it's killing them that they tied against Lazio and then lost against Lazio. And the thing is, the reason why I even brought up Barcelona is to say that Roma looks like they're playing like Roma. Barcelona looks like they're playing haram ball. I have no idea. Watching Barcelona this season has actually been painful. The games they win are based off of probability. They're based off of haram tactics. Whereas watching Roma, believe it or not, there's less haram ball and there's actually good goal conversions. There's actually good teamwork. When Lukaku is on the field and Dybala is healthy and he's able to play, that connection is amazing. Seeing the different long passes that Spinazzola or Pellegrini puts in the box, they're decent. They're not terrible, but the problem with Roma is they have limited options. You know what I mean? It's just they have so much potential, but it's inhibited by the fact that the transfer market wasn't great. It's going to continue to be bad, and at the same time, I don't think that there's much you could do other than what's been done. I have, like, that's the thing with Barcelona. I can think of 10 things off the top of my head. The biggest one being that players synergize better and actually pass the ball in the box. But with Roma, like, watching their games, it's just like, I don't know what you would change. I don't know what a new coach would do. I know that, Mourinho has a tactic of getting a goal and then parking the bus. That bit Roma in the back last season with the final, where that equalizer basically led to penalties, in which case Roma wasn't able to convert. So obviously there's certain tactics and certain approaches that Mourinho is known for that has not worked in the past. But when it comes to the current Roma squad, I have no idea what a new coach is going to do. And I kind of feel like sacking him mid-season is kind of an example of, again, just saving face for the club, getting rid of Roma's coach before any type of increase in wins can happen. But at this rate, this ain't looking good. It's looking like Roma is going to have to struggle to get back to the Europe League. I don't know what the new coach is going to do, but it's unfortunate to see that Mourinho's gone. I started watching Roma because of Mourinho. I'm not going to lie. My excuse for that, to be a bandwagon fan, is simply to say that I didn't really start watching football until 2021. So technically, and that's when I started watching football seriously. So I'm only given the benefit of the doubt there. But I'm sure that there is a path to recovery for Roma. But with news of different transfers happening and people leaving, I don't know what's going to happen to the team next season. But this is absolutely insane to see that Roma is sacking Mourinho mid-season. It's unfortunate.
If you are interested in being a part of the heritage of this channel, I recommend you subscribe, like, and comment. Also, be sure to point out any mistakes the commentator makes. They are an American, after all.